Akabo wa Akatu. This is Daku, and today I want to just give you a little deeper information on the Haitian Revolution. Now, when most of us think of the Haitian Revolution, we think of Toussaint Louverture, and that's because more has been documented on Toussaint, and it's primarily, in my opinion, because Toussaint was trained by the French. And so, as Marcus Garvey taught us about studying and reading the white man's book, and books, we have to understand that their books are to serve to their benefit. So if we believe that the Haitian Revolution is the success of the Haitian Revolution is based on Toussaint Louverture, then there we go, tying our successes back into the white man somehow. Like we can't do anything without the white man. Now these other brothers and sisters that played an important role in the Haitian Revolution's success, many of you haven't heard anything about them because the white man ain't going to celebrate them. They were the most vicious, they were the most brutal when fighting against the white man. Okay? So we're not saying that Toussaint wasn't important, but he was only one part of the importance of the Haitian Revolution. And he did make a mistake, a major mistake. But I'm going to let Dr. Scobie tell you about his mistake, and I hope that it's in this clip. I think it's in this clip anyway. But if I don't play it in this clip, just look up Dr. Scobie. You can check him out on YouTube, and he'll take you more in depth on the Haitian Revolution.
To talk about the Haitian Revolution, one always remembers Toussaint. His name is always being pushed about, and they talk about him. But he was not really the leader in the sense of having won the revolution. The man who really they should talk about is Jean-Jacques Dessalines. He was the man who brought victory. Toussaint was not even there. Through his own fault, he wasn't there. And through the kind of mind that many of our African brothers, or I should say our Negro brothers, have, the belief that Toussaint could speak French. He had been educated, he had been brought up, educated to a point by a French, his plantation owner. He was happy, he was friendly with the priest, and so he believed he was French, and he believed also he was a Roman Catholic. These were the things that helped to cause Toussaint to be taken away, arrested, and for him to lose the revolution and let Dessalines continue with it and win. Because had he not had that frame of mind, he would never have succumbed to the trick they played him. They played one of their nasty tricks on him, as they always do to our people. They call them and promise them something. The lesson is 200 years. It is still here today. Remember that lesson, the lesson of Toussaint. Toussaint died in a prison in the mountains of Jouy in France, in a cold prison. That leader was left there, and they found him dead in his room when they came to wake him up one April morning in a cold room in those mountains. And that should not have happened to him. Had he had the mind of Dessalines, had he had the mind of Christophe, that would never have happened to him. In other words, he thought, like a lot of our people do, that they are American, they're Barbadian, they're Dominican, they're whatever, and they do not know where their loyalties are. Dessalines knew here his loyalties were. They knew those bookmen, they knew nobody had to tell them. And perhaps it was a good thing that they didn't have the modicum of education that Toussaint had. Perhaps, and sometimes, as Carnegie also said, this miseducation can be very dangerous. Right. And it has shown itself to be dangerous. And that is why we go about divided. Right. That is why some of us, quote unquote, are conservatives. What's a conservative anyway? Some of us are Democrats. What's a Democrat? We have no business in that kind of race.
Now, as Dr. Scobie just told you, it was the education that Toussaint got from the French was his downfall. So these books that you see in front of you, they don't have much to do at all with the Haitian Revolution. They're just background. But the very important book, From Miseducation to Education by Dr. Na'im Akbar, you got to get it. It's just a little small pamphlet. So if you don't like reading, you can breeze through it in a, 30 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, however long it takes you to read. It's an important work. Toussaint died because of his own mentality. As Dr. Scobie said. Go back and listen to it again. This has been Daku Akabo wa Akatu.